Hello everyone, I welcome you all for the course Engineering Metrology on the topic screw thread measurement and gear metrology. So these are the contents of the today's topic. Recalling of the lecture 5 and the measurement of the gears using the rollers, and then we will discuss the Parkinson gear tester, and then we will summarize the today's topic contents. So in the lecture 5, we discussed the constant chord method and also base tangent method. So the base tangent method involves only one variable that we need to calculate for a large number of gears. But whereas in the gear tooth vernier caliper, we need to calculate the two parameters D and W. So these the limitations in the base tangent method and gear tooth vernier caliper method, and this can be overcome in the constant chord method. So here we use the constant chord. So that is same for all the gears having a different number of teeth. So that's why this constant chord method can be used as a comparator, because the depth of the constant chord is same for any size of the gear or any number of gears having the any number of teeth. That particular D value, so we can measure what is the thickness of the tooth. So this D value is same for all the gears having the different number of teeth. So that is the advantage of the constant chord method over the base tangent method and the gear tooth vernier caliper method. So in the constant chord method, the D value is calculated theoretically by using this formula m into 1 minus pi by 4 cos pi into sin pi. So this depends only on the module of the gear, not depends on the number of teeth on the gear. So by setting this D value on the vertical vernier scale, and then we can use the gear tooth caliper for measuring the width of the teeth for any number of gears. So that is the advantage of the constant chord method. And in the base tangent method, the length of arc of BD, that is base tangent length, we can measure using this relation. And this relation involves the number of teeth, and for S number of S is the number of teeth considered in the base tangent length. So in the gear tooth vernier caliper, we consider only one teeth, but in this base tangent method, we consider the S number of teeth. That's why the error is minimized in the base tangent length method compared to the gear tooth vernier caliper method. So coming to the today's class, measurement of the gears using the rollers. So measurement of the dimension over the rollers, so which are placed between the spaces of the two opposite spaces of the gear teeth. So this will be a convenient method of measuring the or checking the tooth thickness and obtaining some indication of accuracy of involute profile is to measure the gear over the rollers when they are placed in opposite tooth spaces. So here we can use the different sizes of the rollers, so which are placed in the spaces of the opposite tooths to measure the variations on the tooth flanks. So in this method, we use the rollers. So these are placed in the space between a pair of gear teeth, and dimension is measured over the rollers. So this will give the checking of tooth spacing and the pitch diameter. And remember that this diameter of the roller is placed in the tooth space such that the center of the roller is lying on the pitch circle of the gear. So let us, if we consider the figure, right, the rack tooth is in mesh with the gear. So this is the, so let us see in the next slide. So this is the imaginary rack which is considered and which is symmetrically mesh in the space of the gear tooth, and then the roller is placed such that the center of the roller lying at the on the pitch circle. So the rack tooth is symmetrically in mesh with the gear tooth space. The curved side of the gear tooth touching the straight rack side at point A on the line of action. So this is the line of action of the gear. So this is passing through the center of the roller such that this OA distance, OA, is perpendicular to the AB line. So AB is a straight line which is the part of the imaginary rack. So as it is a line of action and it is the OB is the line, right? Or the gear, this cylinder or roller is touching at point A and B, such that OA is perpendicular to AB, and this angle forms the pressure angle pi. So the roller touches the gear at B, so such that OA is perpendicular to AB line. So the AB line is the line of the part of the plank of the rack. And here we need to measure what is the gauging distance over the rollers, that is RG. This distance we need to measure. So this distance is RG, gauging distance. So the rollers are placed symmetrically in the two opposite tooth spaces of the gear. Now this OAB forms the triangle. So from this triangle OAB, what is pressure angle cos pi is equal to, as it is 90 degree, this angle is pi. OA forms the adjacent side and OB forms the hypotenuse. Therefore, cos pi is equal to OA by OB. So OA is equal to OB into cos pi, but OA is nothing but the radius of the roller. And then OB is the arc length, that is the length which is considered on the pitch circle. So this right? What is circular pitch? It is the tooth space and one tooth thickness. One tooth thickness and one tooth space is considered as the circular pitch. But what is this portion? This portion and this portion is 1/4 of the circular pitch. This is one portion and this is the another portion. This is the another portion and this is the another portion. If we divide this total circular pitch into 4 parts, this OB represents the 1/4 of the circular pitch. So that is 1/4 of the circular pitch is equal to pi into m. That is pi m by 4. OB is equal to pi m by 4. Therefore, R is equal to, that is because OA represents the radius of the roller, R is equal to OA, that is equal to OB cos phi. OB is nothing but pi m by 4 cos phi. But what is the diameter of the roller? Is equal to 2 times the radius, that is pi m by 2 cos phi. But we need to measure what is the gauge reading or gauge length over the roller. Now, if RP is the radius of the pitch circle, that is up to this point. It is the radius of the, or this you consider RP, it is the radius of the pitch circle. So that is equal to, okay, from the module, you can derive this expression. Module is equal to, so 2RP, right, diameter, 2RP is the diameter divided by the number of teeth. So RP is equal to m into t by 2. So t is the number of teeth, m is the module. Therefore, gauging distance over the rollers is equal to, so this is R. Similarly, we have this, the right. So from this figure, we can write. So this is R, that is small r, radius of the roller. So this is radius of the roller. And from this point to this point is radius of the, that is capital RP, radius of the pitch circle. And from this point to this point is again radius of the pitch circle. And this is smaller. So total gauge reading RT is equal to RP plus R again plus RP plus R. So 2 times small r plus RP. That is equal to 2 into small r is equal to pi by 4 m cos pi. That is plus capital RP is equal to Tm by 2. So by simplifying this, so we can get m into pi by 2 cos pi plus t. So this expression is valid to measure the gauge length over the rollers when we have the even number of teeth on the gear. So if we have the odd number of teeth, then we use the comparator for measuring the gauge length over the rollers. Next, coming to the Parkinson gear tester. So this Parkinson gear tester can be used for measuring the variation in the center distance of the two gears. To measure the variation in the center distance between the two gears. Let us, if we consider the two gears, these two gears are in mesh, and these gears can be used in any application. Under static condition, the center distance let us maybe d, but when they are in operation, the center distance slightly changes. So during the operation, the gears center distance may slightly changes. That error may be considered as plus or minus e. the tolerance. So this D plus or minus E value is measured with the help of Parkinson Gare tester. So if the error is, or if the measurement is beyond the dimension plus or minus E, that center distance is more than or less than this specified distance D plus or minus E, then that gear will be rejected. So because this more than or less than this plus or minus E occurs while manufacturing the gears, the error takes place in the tooth profiles or in the pitch circle diameter. So that causes the variation in the center distance, maybe more than or less than the this specified dimension. So for that purpose, we use the Parkinson Gare tester. So this Parkinson Gare tester consists of a fixed adjustable carriage. So this part of the Gare tester carriage, this part of the carriage is fixed, and this portion, at this portion we can adjust the distance. So in order to accommodate the different sizes of the gears. So this is mandrel. So on this mandrel we place the master gear. So master gear is the gear having the high accuracy. And this is the another mandrel, so on which the gear to be tested is placed, and which is mounted on the floating carriage. So this floating carriage can be moved towards the master gear or away from the master gear on the rollers. So the center distance between the two gears is set with the help of the slip gauges. And then we replace the slip gauges by the master gear and the gear under test. And there is a calibrated spring, so which can be used for applying a pressure, specified pressure between the two gears, master gear and the gear under test. So because, so during the operation of the two gears, so the pressure may be exerted between the teeth of the rack, teeth of the gear. So let us generally 2 kPa or 3 kPa pressure during the actual operation. So this pressure can be set by the spring between the two gears. So this will help to simulate the actual working condition of the gear pair. So how do we conduct the gear test? So let us, this is the gear A and this is the gear B, and master gear is C. Now we will pick up one gear, gear A, and then we will first measure what is the actual distance between the master gear and the gear of A. So that distance is set by the slip gauges, and then we will replace the slip gauges by the gear A, and then we will rotate the two gears, master gear and the gear is under test. If there is any variation between the center distance of the two gears, So the floating carriage will move. So that movement is measured with the help of the dial indicator. And this movement can also be measured. There is a main scale and the vernier scale, which is fixed to the table. And also there is a transducer which is connected to the floating carriage, and this transducer converts the moment of the floating carriage into the wavy form. So this will be recorded, this wavy form is recorded by the electronic recorder. Electronic recorder. So this electronic recorder records the movement of the floating carriage or change in center distance. Variation in the center distance of the two gears is converted into the wavy form using the electronic recorder. So we can better predict the variation of center distance. So for each tooth, we can obtain the variation of the gear center distance for each tooth with the help of electronic recorder. So for better understanding of the variation of the center distance of the gear teeth. And the numerical value we can obtain from the dial indicator. Okay. So if the measured distance is more than the specified distance, that is d plus or minus e, then the gear is rejected. So there is a maybe the errors in the gear tooth profile. So while manufacturing, or maybe in the error in the pitch circuit. So here we use the dial indicator of high resolution to measure the composite error. So this Parkinson gear tester will give us the composite error, not the individual errors like run out tooth spacing and profile variations will not provide individual. The combined error will gives the Parkinson gear tester. So this is the procedure already explained. So we have the two gears. These are mounted on the respective mandrels, and a slide comprising the standard gear is fixed at a convenient position, and the sliding gear carriage is moved along the table. The two gears are brought into mesh, and the sliding carriage base is also locked at any desired position. So the positions of the two mandrels are adjusted in such a way that their axial distance is equal to the gear center distance as per the drawings. So the sliding carriage is free to slide for a small distance on steel rollers under light spring force. And the vernier scale is attached to the machine enables measurement of the center distance up to 25 micrometer variation. So the dial indicator is set to 0 and the gear under inspection is rotated. So any radial variations of the gear being inspected are indicated by the dial indicator. And there is a charts for measuring the radial errors. So that will be recorded. So the variation is plotted on the chart or graph sheet, which indicates the radial variations in the gear for one complete revolution. So if the radial errors are like this, that means fully satisfactory. If the graph sheet or plot is like this is the master gear, right? And the gear under consideration is like this, then the profile is perfectly correct. That means it is fully satisfactory. That means there is no variation in the center distance of the gears. And if the variation of the profile is in this fashion is observed on the graph sheet, and this is the variation. This is the profile of the master gear, and this is the profile of the gear to be test under consideration. So this will give us the moderate acceptance of the gear. And if this is the master gear profile and this is the profile of the gear under consideration, then this type of gears are rejected. This is provides the unsatisfactory results. So the mechanism can be designed to provide a high degree of magnification. So once we test the gear A, and then we will replace the gear A by gear B, and again we will do the same procedure for checking the center distance between the gears. So the limitations of this Parkinson gear tester are, one is this generally maximum 300 mm diameter is used. Beyond 300 mm it cannot be used for inspecting the gears. And there is a low friction in the movement of the floating carriage, and high sensitivity of the sensing unit is important. And the accuracy of the order is plus or minus 0.001 mm. So this is the another important limitation is rolling test does not reveal all errors. So the device is sensitive to cumulative position errors. So it gives only combined error. So it will not clearly reveal the all the different errors, profile, pitch, helix, and tooth thickness. So these are mixed. You cannot distinguish separately. And the measurements are directly depending upon the master gear and the reference gear or reference gear. If there is any error in the master gear, so that error will be reflected in the measurement of the center distance of the gear error. So these are the various limitations. So this is the today's class. So the measurement over the rollers placed in the space between a pair of gear teeth gives a convenient method for checking the tooth spacing and the pitch diameter. And in Parkinson gear tester, the gear is being inspected will be made to mesh with the standard gear, that is master gear, and the dial indicator is used to capture the radial errors. The standard gear is mounted on the fixed frame, while the gear being inspected is fixed to the sliding carriage. So the two gears are mounted on mandrels, which facilitate accurate mounting of the gears in machines, so that dial indicator will primarily measure the irregularities in the gear under inspection. And we have seen the limitations. One limitation is this cannot be used for measuring the gear diameter more than 300 mm size, and this will provide the only the composite error. Composite error. This will not use the individual errors for a pitch or run out error and all those things. And also this, if there is any error in the master gear, that will also reflect the error on the gear under measurement. So the center distance also varies when the size of the master gear is error in the master gear is observed, then that error is reflected in the measurement of the variation in the center distance of the gears. So this is about the today's class, and these are the references we considered for preparing this material. Thank you.